I worked the front desk at a boutique hotel in Amsterdam. Last summer, an American guest checked in for what he called a European work vacation. He had his laptop, noise-canceling headphones, and 3 different chargers. He asked where our business center was. I pointed to the lobby corner with 2 computers. He stared. "That's it?" I nodded. He said American hotels have full offices with printers and conference rooms. I told him most guests don't work on vacation here. He laughed like I'd told a joke. "Europeans don't understand the grind," he said. He spent his entire stay on Zoom calls. Missed the canal tours, never visited a museum, and complained our Wi-Fi was too slow for his productivity. He checked out exhausted and said he needed a vacation from his vacation. My friend works at a cafe in Copenhagen. An American woman set up a full workstation laptop, external monitor, wireless keyboard. She ordered 1 coffee and stayed 6 hours. When my friend gently mentioned table turnover, the woman said, "In America, we call this a coffee shop office," my friend said. "In Denmark, we call this a cafe." The woman left a review saying, "Danish cafes were anti-remote work. Paris Museum." Guard told me an American tourist took business calls in the Louvre. Loudly, in front of the Mona Lisa, when asked to step outside. He said his time was too valuable to waste on art without multitasking. These stories aren't isolated. They're a pattern if you're the kind of person who sees patterns. Not just funny anecdotes. You'll want to stay connected here. Subscribing isn't about helping this channel. It's about making sure you don't miss the deeper truths beneath these stories. I manage a small beachside restaurant in Barcelona. An American couple sat down for lunch. The man immediately opened his laptop. Before ordering, he asked for our Wi-Fi password. I gave it. He connected, then asked if we had outlets near the table. We don't. Our terrace is outdoor. He looked genuinely distressed. I have an urgent email, he said. His wife sighed like she'd heard this before. I suggested he use his phone. He said he needed to draft a proper response with formatting. The urgent email was about a meeting scheduled for 3 weeks later. He spent 40 minutes typing while his paella went cold. His wife ate alone, staring at the Mediterranean. When I brought the check, he was still typing. He asked if we could wait because he was almost done. We waited. He finally closed the laptop, looked at the ocean for the first time, and said, "Nice view." His wife looked exhausted. He looked proud of his efficiency. I found it strange that someone would travel thousands of miles to sit at a table doing exactly what they do at home. If that made you stop for a second, if you feel the tension between productivity and actually living. This is the conversation we have every week. Subscribe and don't let this kind of clarity slip past you. My cousin works at a riverside cafe in Prague. An American man arrived early morning, ordered coffee, and set up his laptop facing the Charles Bridge. Beautiful spot. He opened Slack. For 4 hours, he responded to messages, occasionally glancing at the river. A colleague messaged asking if he was really on vacation. He typed back, "Yeah, man, living the dream, working from Prague." My cousin noticed he never actually looked at Prague, just the screen. Around noon, his boss sent a message asking for a quick call. The American excused himself, walked to the corner, and spent 90 minutes on the phone. When he returned, my cousin asked if he was enjoying Prague. He said, "Absolutely. I've been here all morning." My cousin said, "You've been on your computer all morning." He looked confused. "Yeah, but I'm in Prague while doing it. That's the whole point." He left after 6 hours. Never walked across the bridge. Never entered the old town. Left a review praising the cafe's strong remote work vibe. I'm a conductor on the Berlin-Munich Express. An American passenger boarded with a massive backpack and laptop case. She immediately asked if we had power outlets. We do, on some seats. She asked if she could switch seats to access one. Sure, she moved 3 times finding the optimal setup. Once settled, she took out her laptop, phone, tablet, and portable hotspot. She created a mobile office. Her seat neighbor looked uncomfortable. She started a video call. Loud. In a quiet car. I approached and explained, This was the quiet section. She said, "I'm working." I said, "Quiet cars prohibit loud conversations." She said, "But this is work, not conversation." I explained it's still noise. She looked offended. "In America, productivity is respected," said in Germany. "Train rules are respected." She moved to the regular car, visibly annoyed. 30 minutes later, she returned, asking if the quiet car was still off limits because she needed focus. I said the rules still applied. She spent the entire 3-hour journey on calls, disturbing multiple passengers. At Munich, she complained that European trains were not designed for professionals. Work at a grocery store in Vienna. "We're closed Sundays. It's the law." An American tourist tried our door Sunday morning, locked. He knocked. I was inside doing inventory and went to explain. He asked what time we opened. I said Monday morning. He looked shocked. "It's only 10 a.m., he said. I explained Austria requires most shops to close Sundays. He said that was economically inefficient. Said American stores operate 24/7 because business doesn't sleep. I said Austrians believe workers deserve rest. He said, "What about customer convenience?" I said workers are people, not convenience machines. He argued that capitalism rewards availability. I said European capitalism includes humanity. He stood there visibly processing this. Finally, he said, "So you just don't make money on Sundays?" I said we make enough the other 6 days. He walked away confused. Later, I saw him eating at a restaurant that was open. He didn't seem to notice the irony that service workers there were working while grocery staff rested. I work at a law firm in Lyon. An American client called in early August, furious his attorney wasn't responding. I explained she was on vacation. He said, "For how long?" I said 3 weeks. Silence. Then 3 weeks. I confirmed. He said American attorneys don't take 3-week vacations. I said French labor law guarantees 5 weeks annual leave, and August is traditional vacation time. He said that was unprofessional during active cases. I explained his case wasn't urgent, a contract review scheduled for October. He said, "What if something urgent comes up?" I said her colleague was covering emergencies. He said, "This is an emergency." I asked what changed. He admitted nothing had, but he might have questions. He demanded to speak with a managing partner. The partner was also on vacation. He asked if anyone was working. I said yes, essential staff. He said this proved European work culture was fundamentally broken. He threatened to find an American firm in France. I wished him luck. He called back 2 hours later asking if his attorney could just check her email once. Said no. He hung up, frustrated. His contract review happened in October exactly as planned. I work at a tech company in Oslo. We collaborate with an American startup. They scheduled a quick call for 5 p.m. Oslo time. We explained that's past our work hours. The American founder said, "It's only 10 a.m. here in California. Perfect timing." Our manager explained Norwegians work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., then go home. The American laughed. That's part-time hours. Our manager said it's full-time with high productivity. The American insisted, real dedication means being available. Compromised on 3 p.m. Oslo time. During the call, the American founder seemed surprised we were all present and prepared. He said, "Wow, you guys actually showed up." Our manager said, "You scheduled a meeting. Why wouldn't we?" He said American teams often skip or join late. Our meeting ended exactly at 4 p.m. The American was mid-sentence. Our manager said we needed to close. He looked stunned. "We're not done," he said. Our manager said we covered the agenda. Anything else can be emailed. He said, "Don't you want to brainstorm more?" We said no. We want to go home to our families. He sat there alone on the call, clearly confused why work didn't consume our entire existence. I own a wine bar in Florence. An American tech worker came in during aperitivo hour. He ordered wine, pulled out his laptop, and started working. I brought him some complimentary snacks, olives, cheese, bread. He barely looked up. After an hour, he was still typing. I approached and asked if he was enjoying the wine. He said, "Yeah, it's fine." I noticed he hadn't actually tasted it. I asked if he was working. He said yes, an important project. I asked why he'd come to a wine bar. He said he needed a change of scenery from his hotel. I sat down uninvited. He looked surprised. I said, in Italy, aperitivo isn't about the place. It's about the pause. He looked confused. I explained aperitivo as the ritual of stopping work, enjoying a drink, connecting with others, and transitioning from productivity to pleasure. He said, but I'm being productive here. I said, you're missing the point of here. He closed his laptop slightly. I poured him a proper glass of our best wine, not the cheap one he'd ordered. I explained the region, the vineyard, the family who made it. He tasted it carefully. Actually tasted it. He looked around the bar for the first time. Locals laughing, friends sharing food, couples holding hands. He said, people just sit here. I said, people live here. He stayed another hour. Laptop closed. Wine savored. When he left, he thanked me. He said it was the first time in 2 years he'd stopped working while awake. He looked like he'd discovered something he'd forgotten existed. These stories reveal something uncomfortable. American work culture travels badly. The hustle that seems virtuous at home looks compulsive abroad. Europeans aren't lazy, they're boundaried. They don't lack ambition, they question what ambition costs. And watching Americans work through vacations, they don't see dedication. They see someone who's forgotten how to stop. If you want next week's breakdown on how American tipping culture sparks literal international incidents, join the viewers who like staying 3 steps ahead. Subscribe now, so the next episode finds you. Next time, we're exploring what happens when American tipping culture crashes into countries where it's actually offensive. Spoiler: it involves a lot of confused waiters and some very angry Germans.